مساء الخير. Right now I want to talk about using اسم الفاعل in a حال clause in Arabic. Remember, اسم الفاعل is the active participle, the form, the word that we get from a verb that describes the doer of an action. A حال clause is a way of describing how an action was undertaken. Sometimes in English we use adverbs for this. Other times we can get away with using the ing form of a verb, the gerund. So if I wanted to say, they entered the classroom dragging their feet or rubbing their eyes. That is what we're trying to express when we use a حال clause. There are several ways of constructing a حال clause. Right now, we're going to be focusing on using اسم الفاعل. If you'd like a refresher on how to construct اسم الفاعل, there's another video that you can go and look at if you'd like some review. So, to create a sentence like this in Arabic, we need a main verb with a subject, and then we need an اسم فاعل in the mansoob that refers back to that original subject. So if I wanted to say, for example, I left the city heading for my family's house. In Arabic, I could say it this way. غادرت المدينة, and now I have a verb in Arabic. يقصد, and one of its meanings can be to aim for or head for a geographical place. And I want to put this into اسم فاعل, and it also needs to be in the mansoob case. Remember that mansoob, one of its meanings is that it's kind of adverbial. So it answers the question, how did I leave the city? So I would express that in Arabic. غادرت المدينة قاصد. Now I have an اسم فاعل, and now it needs to be mansoob. قاصدا بيت أسرتي. So if we wanted to render it in an overly literal, not quite accurate way in English, we could say, I left the city headingly to my family's house. That sounds very strange in English, but in Arabic, it's what we have to do if we want to express these ideas. Let's take another example. My father refused, saying that he doesn't want me to study literature. So رفض والدي. Now we know the verb for say, يقول. And this is a bit irregular. The waw would actually turn into a hamza. So our اسم فاعل would be قائل, and then again we need to make it mansoob. قائلا إنه لا يريد, etc., etc. My father refused sayingly that he doesn't want, etc. Again, we couldn't phrase it that way in English, but in Arabic it's almost more regular, right? We can use the adverbial form to describe how an action was undertaken, and in formal Arabic we have the same structure every time in a case like this. One final example. Let's say the student studied Arabic smiling. Smilingly, the student studied Arabic. Let's make it a female student. درست الطالبة العربية. Now I need to take the verb for smile in Arabic, ibtasama, and turn it into an ism fa'il. I could go check out a chart, figure out that ibtasama is a form 8 verb, and then put it into the form 8 ism fa'il pattern, mubtassim. I just have that memorized, and hopefully, inshallah, you will too someday. But I need to remember that my subject here, the person doing the studying while smiling, is grammatically feminine. We're talking about a female student, so I would need to add a ta marbuta onto it. Mubtasima, and again, it needs to be mansoob. So in this case, since it's feminine with a ta marbuta, I don't add the alif that I would for mansoob. And there I have my sentence. Now, remember, we could do this for plural subjects as well, and in a case like that, all of our asma' fa'il tend to take pretty regular plural endings. Most of the time you're going to see for masculine or mixed gender plural, you're going to see un or in, but because all of these asma' fa'il are mansoob, I'm going to make sure that I use the mansoob ending. So if I wanted to rephrase this, we left the house, غادرنا المدينة, then instead of قاصدا for just one person, it would be قاصدين بيت أسرتي, or maybe بيت أسرتنا, depending on the story we're telling. Same thing here. If my whole family refused رفض أفراد أسرتي. رفض is conjugated in the singular because it comes before أفراد أسرتي. I could switch it and make it a جملة اسمية, in which case I would need to conjugate the verb for the plural subject. Either way, all of them said, all of them refused. قائلين إنهم, that they, etc., etc. Or if this group of female students was studying Arabic while smiling, درسن, that's our sound feminine plural conjugation. الطالبات العربية, all of the female students were studying Arabic smiling, then I would add مبتسمات. Remember that the feminine plural only has two sets of case endings. It's either marfu'a with dhamma or majroor or mansoob with kasra. So all of the female students studied Arabic mubtasimat, smiling. Again, that is one way of constructing a hal clause. There are others, but this is a nice way to increase the literary value of your sentences. We could probably, if we wanted, break these up into smaller sentences. I left my house, I headed to, or excuse me, I left the city, I headed to my family's house. But that sounds a bit cavemanish, right? And it's much more stylistically elegant to create one long sentence and use a hal clause instead.